Welcome to the Gamers Inn. Come on in, pull up a chair next to the fire. It looks like you've had a long journey. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and joining me, as always, is my co host, Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Hello. I've returned from the land of not my home, which is
Hooray!
is fortunate to be back in my own office. It is not as scary as a hotel, and when I look outside, I do not see strange people. They're going to stab me.
What kind of a hotel were you staying in?
Like, okay, do you know the type of towns that have like one decent hotel?
Yes.
It's that type of town.
Okay.
Yeah, those towns are not pretty, you know. No, I kid. It was fine. Smith Falls is wonderful this time of year, and yeah, it was a good time.
You sound like you're
And
getting so old. Oh, Smith Falls is just lovely this
Smith
time of year.
Falls
Have you
was
seen the color?
was amazing. The water smells like jasmine, and I'm pretty sure that the Harveys gave me food poisoning. No, it was fun. I got a lot of time to play some mobile games.
Oh,
I
good. What'd you
left I
play?
left the well, I played Goddess.
Oh,
Godis?
are we back to this again?
Yeah. You know, Peter Molyneux, me and Peter, as I call him.
I think
We go way back.
I feel like it
What
must be goddess.
it's gotta be Godis. I'm on the Godis camp.
Because it's like, but it's,
It,
yeah.
it's definitely Goddess.
I don't know
I'm
though, because I mean, there's just one D, so it should probably be like the U makes the O make the O sound, right? So it should be
yeah. But I feel as
go.
though maybe it's a British thing,
I don't
you
know.
know? We need to like someone get Terpster on the line
Yeah.
and
How do you
figure
say
this thing
this?
out. Yeah, he'll probably say Godis. Goddess is a game we chatted about a long time ago. We're
Yeah, it
both
was. After we had that original conversation, other than this iOS title, did you actually go back and play it at all? Because I didn't touch it.
I did a little bit because there was a big update, but my save file didn't restart. Like it didn't give me the option to restart. So it's kind of like, well, I don't know how I experienced this new and improved progression system without being able to restart my save. I mean,
Right.
that's the problem with early access is that it really feels like there's no way to, do options. It's really weird. I'm not a big fan of early access in the sense that it's missing key stuff like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, new game. But I don't know. Like I kickstarted this game, and the iOS version is complete in the sense that it is not early access, but it is free to play, um, which is interesting.
And it's iOS, so is that iPad or iPhone or does it matter? Like
Um,
it's a pretty small, or at least I remember from playing it on the computer. Even on the monitor, it was really hard to like see stuff and click stuff and everything was really really small. So I can't imagine trying to play that on an iPhone.
I definitely am playing it on iPad. I know it is universal, so I'm sure it will work on your iPhone. But the mere fact that I'm having issues like getting around on the iPad and it's two fingers to pan the map,
Hmm.
I
Do you
could
have a
not
4
imagine.
or a 5?
The phone is a 5.
Oh, well, that's not too bad. At least you have the larger of the two screen options, but still.
Mhm. Yeah, the iPad is definitely your go-to with Goddess, and I felt like the early game was very similar to the PC version. You're progressing your town, you're collecting belief. Do you remember the old version of the game was kind of like a tap 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 kind of thing to collect all your belief? And that
Yes.
was one of the main issues. In this version, and I believe in the PC version since we played, they've updated it so you just have to hold tap on one and then just like kind of scribble around and get them all in one fell swoop,
Okay.
which is much faster, but still feels kind of like work, like free to play work,
Mhm.
which is not what you want when you're
Right.
you're playing video games. But the obviously they add like a gem store, so that's their like, their special currency, and you can earn it by finding it in the map by like moving and finding treasure chests,
Okay.
or you can buy it.
Of course.
Uh-huh. And you progress like the other game with the timeline of cards and expanding your population. But I'm sure in this version, when you unlock a card, you have to like apply stickers to that card in order to fully unlock it. And like free to play, you find those stickers in the chests, but after you progress to a certain point, you stop finding them and you have to start buying them,
Hmm.
or earning them with mini games and stuff. Oh my god! And
Stupid
you were
dog.
you were so calm. What? She doesn't like Godus. Here, shut up. Just sit and be cute. There's no one out there. I don't. Anyways, but yeah, it's entertaining and it's free to play. I suggest picking it up,
I
especially if
might
you
give it a
were,
try.
you were relatively interested in the PC version. And
Yeah, it seems interesting. It had potential way back when we started the beta, because I'm trying to remember, because I got early access too. I don't think I did any kickstarting of anything. I haven't
Mhm.
kickstarted very many things. Um, but yeah, I remember it was okay, but I hit so many roadblocks with it that I was just kind of like, okay. When again, I think we've talked about this before about early access and how it can kind of kill the excitement around a game. Like it's almost better if you just don't play. Like I'm not playing Warlords hardly at all, in terms of like actual beta access.
Mhm.
I mean, I was gonna give it a try again because I've seen some really cool things in the most recent builds because I get the like notifications from Wowhead and stuff. And I'm just like, oh man, like I really, really want to play. I really want to get into this game. And then I tried to copy over my characters because there's been a wipe since the last time I did it. And tried to copy over my characters and it just crashed. And I was kind of like, okay, this is a sign I should not play this content until it's official and it's released and, all that kind of stuff. So I think
Mhm.
early access is really starting to kind of kill some games for me. So as super awesome as like say Hearthstone beta was, I haven't had that experience with anything else. And I think it has a lot to do with anything that has any kind of like story, which I know that in Goddess there isn't that much of a story. It's more so just like strategy, resources, all that kind of stuff. But I think anything that has any kind of story to it that can be spoiled, you're better off just kind of holding back. And chat room is also saying Heroes is good, and yeah. But again, I'm having the same kind of issue with Heroes. Is like
Mhm.
they're in alpha, so they're putting in a lot of stuff, they're taking out a lot of stuff, and I'm just kind of like, I don't want to get attached to any one build in an alpha because then it's just like, oh, they might take away my favorite feature or they might introduce something that I really, really hate. Like, I think it was artifacts, which I think they've already gone back on. So,
Yeah.
like it's so like back and forth in when you're in alpha and even sometimes in beta phases. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? I really just want to play finished games as much as I want
Mhm.
this content as soon as possible. I'd rather have finished content. So I think I'm just going to kind of back away from all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some would argue that a lot of free-to-play titles are in an ever
Well,
fluctuating
yeah.
early access. I mean, look at Smite and the god that you were digging on,
Mm-hmm.
Nua,
Yeah,
who
I
got a
loved
complete
her.
refresh. You know,
Although she's pretty fantastic now too, but
yeah, and that
I
underboob, man, you
well
can't
yeah,
go
oh
wrong.
man, so much underboob.
It is like that. Okay, that she is on the title screen of that game now, and they really went for it with that character.
Yeah, they really really did. It's to the point that I'm kind of just like, why even bother with the ribbon?
Yeah. Oh, are we gonna have like a BMX triple X scenario over here with Smite? We don't want that.
No,
That
no.
game was
Um,
not widely reviewed.
it's just like, yeah,
Hmm.
so much boob.
Well, there's no
And
boobs in
she had
Godus.
a really really cool design before in terms of
Hmm.
powers and in terms of actual like character design. I really liked
Sure.
her. I loved her big like elemental staff thing.
Careful.
So cool. There was a hand gesture, and I'm glad that it was mostly off screen because she holds her staff like way off screen. So I was
She
mimicking
does
her, so
this.
you couldn't really see the hand gesture, but there was a hand gesture.
Yeah, and she had boobs before too, and
Yeah, and
just
she
not as
yeah.
uncovered. you
Yeah.
know.
So, I mean,
I don't
anyways,
know.
I like her design.
Yeah.
Her new design's pretty cool with her glowy tattoos too. But anyways,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but that's same sort of thing. Like they're free to play. They've redesigned a few gods now, Hercules, Zeus, like kind of the ones that they came out way, way back at the beginning of the game, really. Um, they've redesigned a bunch of those, and then not so much from the power standpoint, but from the just skins and animations and stuff, they've redone it. So it's interesting to see in that sense, because I find for the most part it doesn't actually change the game experience. Like, they've added new maps, but they haven't taken anything away. They haven't really changed anything significantly, except for adding functionality. You can swap gods now in Assault, that kind of stuff. It's cool. There's only been a couple of gods that I think they've actually changed. Nuwa being one, and there was one other right when we first started to play that they actually like full on like changed. Callie, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, they full on changed her too. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's good to have an ever evolving game, but I feel like an ever evolving finished game is just a totally different experience from a beta, and I think a beta can sour you on a game very, very quickly. So yeah, I'm totally stoked for a lot of this stuff, but I think I'm gonna pull back from playing betas of things.
Yeah, I actually think alongside betas, alphas, early access, I'm gonna pull away from playing free to play stuff. I feel like, it's fun for that small bit of time as you start, and then it starts to become a chore, and you don't realize that, or at least I don't. I don't realize it's become a chore until uh, I've been doing the chore for a good couple weeks, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I doing? Delete. So if it were New Year's, I'd probably say my New Year's resolution is not to play any more free to play games, because on my list that today I've only had time for these free to play titles, and the iPad is such a great platform for amazing. And I guess I shouldn't say I won't play any free to play. Like, there are great examples like Hearthstone.
I was
That's
just gonna say that's the one that I've been playing. I haven't been playing any
Mhm.
other mobile titles. What I've been doing is turning my phone into a hotspot and then
Sure.
using my iPad on the bus to play
Mhm.
Hearthstone. And I can usually, like with Curse of Nax was so awesome because I could get through like the normal bosses and usually the class challenges on either, like, usually it only took me the trip into work.
Sure.
Which was actually kind of bad because I go to work really, really early. I get on the bus at 7 a.m. So I would like beat all the bosses and beat the class challenges from like 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. when I actually got to work. And then like I would go home or go to do Angry Chicken Notes. And I was just like, I can't remember what bosses I played or what decks I used or anything because I'm just like, I haven't had my coffee yet. I don't really know what I did. And I'm just like, oh, I had to go play all that content all over again because I'm just too sleepy in the morning. But that's what I've been playing on mobile. And it doesn't really fit because there's a link in our show notes. And
Sure.
I'm just going to drop it in the chat room. So Ryan found this, and this is from the guy who did the, was it the,
It was the Smite video,
the Smite
yeah.
video. So the thing about Smite goddesses and saying how they're actually, true to historical, I guess, imagery. And then there was another one about one of my favorite video games, which is Majora's Mask, and talking about how like that's actually like Link is actually dead in Majora's Mask, and it's like it makes me want to go back and play the game. Anyways, this guy, it's a Game Theorist on YouTube, is fantastic. So
Mhm.
just dropped a link into the chat room. It's his latest YouTube video, or just one that you just randomly found.
It's recent. Sometimes
Okay.
I subscribe on YouTube to his channel, and occasionally I'll catch new ones. He
Mm.
posts a new video about once a week,
Yeah.
which is crazy considering how much research
Oh
and
yeah.
the guy's got to be super smart or have a bunch of people working for him to be able to pull all this information together every week. But
Mhm.
he does a great job.
Yeah, they're really,
Yeah.
really good. So, anyways, this one was on addicting games and the
Mhm.
dopamine thing cycle in your brain and all that kind of fun stuff. So it was really, really interesting to see like the free to play models and the kind of things that they play into in terms of our brain chemistry and all that kind of stuff. And it's the things that like you already know kind of vaguely that's how they work. But then he talks about like personality and how a lot of gamers have addictive personalities. But that's not a bad thing because we're like driven and like
Mhm.
crazy obsessive about things in a good way, in a leadership potential way. So,
Mhm.
good and bad sides. But anyways, it's a really, really interesting video you guys should check out, and it's made me never want to touch a mobile or free to play game again. Like I look at this and I'm like, oh my god, it's Simpsons Tapped Out. This is exactly what Simpsons Tapped Out did to my life. They
Mhm.
hacked my brain.
Yeah, I think it's specifically the free-to-play titles that use the energy mechanic
Hmm.
and the free sort of like come back every day rewards. I've got a couple on my iPad that I've been playing, including the game that he was playing in this video, which idiot, you don't watch a video on addicting video games and then think,
And then
hey,
think
this
I
looks
should
pretty good.
download that. That looks
I should
pretty
play it.
good.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
just like Pokemon meets Candy Crush. Why wouldn't that be amazing?
that would not it and it is a great game, but then you start to hit that wall where you realize it's a chore and the game isn't rewarding you as much as possible. And that dopamine hit, I don't know what it's been lately, but I think I've had to come to the realization of stopping to play these games is because multiple outlets are teaching me about the ways of dopamine. I mean, I don't know if you listen to Scott's therapy show with Wendy, but
Mm.
they actually did an episode on addiction and talked about how the dopamine thingy works and
Hmm.
the percentage you get from enjoying a video game, and it's not as bad as meth. Meth's like 1100%.
Well,
I
good.
think
I'm glad that my addiction is not as bad as meth.
yes, that's the goal. And video gaming is I think was in the range of like 50 to 100% alongside like smoking, I think. Oh no, smoking was way higher, but smoking the nicotine, it's kind of a drug.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just I guess I shouldn't lump all free to play games into one big bucket of awfulness.
Hmm.
You've got those outliers that actually don't, prey on the weak, like Hearthstone, and like Hero Academy. I felt Hero Academy
That's
was
true.
very good.
That's true.
Mhm.
So for those of you who don't know or missed the craze or whatever, Hero Academy was something we were playing. Actually, probably coming up on 3 years ago is when it kind of started to be a thing. And you play against a friend on a mobile device, and then it came to Steam probably about 6 months after that. And you each pick a team, and originally there were just two teams, and then they slowly added different teams and mechanics and all that kind of stuff. And so you pick a team, your friend picks a team. Each team has like a pool of like six dudes that you can pick from, and then you would put them out on certain starting spots, and they all had, like movement ranges like chess and different things that they could do and attacks that they could do. And so the objective was to destroy your opponent's crystals, which were placed somewhere on their side of the board. So you had to both defend your crystals and attack the other person's crystals. And it was
Yeah.
turn based, and it was like there were no, um, I guess, walls or energy or anything else. The only thing that slowed you down basically was like if I would make a move, I had to wait for Ryan to make a move, and
Yeah.
then that could take 5 hours, or it could be instant. So
Jeez, throw Ryan on. I was pretty good with my moves.
no,
I'd get
that's
right
true.
back.
There was a point in time where it was like, do do do, Ryan's made a move, and then I'd make my move. Do do do, Ryan's made a move, and then I make my move, and we were just going back and forth like it was like a real time strategy game or something. We were so quick on the draw. But basically, what you could do is you could pay money to have like different colors on your characters. You could pay money to unlock the next team. But that was usually, I think, was it $3.99 or $4.99 to unlock the new team?
It was like 2.99. It was
Oh,
three
was
bucks.
it? Yeah, because I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly how much it was. It's been a long time since I played, but um, yeah. So basically, I ended up doing what I do with Hearthstone, which is like I play the game. If I play the game a lot, then I'll invest some money in it. So with Hearthstone, I have my 3 month rule where once every 3 months I buy my 40 packs. I spend my $50 because that's
Wow.
that's what I would do. Like if I was buying another AAA title, I would pay around that kind of money to do that, and I was doing that once every 3 months, give or take. So it's a really good kind of like gating mechanism that I imposed on myself. So I figured like I was playing Hero Academy all the time.
Mhm.
All the time. And I'm just like, well, I should give them money because I'm really enjoying their game. So then when a new team would come out, I would buy it. I didn't buy the vanity items, I don't think. With the exception, I might have bought one set of like little profile pictures because you could change your profile picture when you were going up against somebody.
Sure.
And I think that I did that once too. But it was basically just like, well, they make a good game. I'm having a lot of fun, so I'm gonna give them some money. But it
Yeah.
was never like buying something would say like get me a bonus turn before my opponent, so like I could go twice and they could go once or something like that. So
Mhm.
it was never like hindering me from playing or anything. And
Yeah.
it was a pretty balanced game. So, I mean, it wasn't like buying the new team was an auto win button or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's interesting because I feel personally, I mean, I'm not a game developer, so if there are game developers that listen to the show, please do not crucify me. I feel like those free-to-play titles like Hearthstone, like Hero Academy, um, require more time in the planning stages to make a free-to-play game that doesn't prey, like I said, prey on the weakness of gamers. You know, that need for that, ooh, yay, 30 seconds of fun moment, and for free, and then kind of like gate them.
mm-hmm.
Like it's like locking, a crack addict out of the den, right? You're not getting back in for another hit until you
Yeah.
pay 99 cents. In this case, it's a little more than 99 cents, and with that analogy, but I just feel like those gated energies are worthless. There's this game that I was playing called Two Dots, and it's sort of on the par with the way Threes kind of worked. It looked very much like Threes, but it was more like a Candy Crush sort of connect the dots thing.
Okay.
It was super good. It looked great. The aesthetics were awesome. The music was fantastic, and it was free to play. But there was no way to play it without. Damn it.
No way to
Sorry.
play it without.
There's no way to play it without, the energy. If
Mm.
you started to lose, it was like Candy Crush. If you lost, you had 5 lives. And then in order to continue going, you had to buy a refresh for 99 cents. A one-time charge. No, I'm sorry, not a one-time charge, but you pay 99 cents to refill your lives. And that is super defeating and makes you want to throw your phone across the room. Like, why would I want to play a game that punishes me that severely for sucking? Like, that's not fun at all.
Yeah. Chat room is just throwing out some cool names of some mobile games that are good free-to-play titles. So Battleheart Legacy, Fates Forever, which is an iOS MOBA, Threes, which we've already mentioned, and Order and Chaos. So yeah, Threes is the only one out of those that I've actually played, but go check them out. Let us know what you think about those games.
Order and Chaos is actually a World of Warcraft Gameloft clone type dealie and just went free to play. And Fates Forever I've never heard of. That sounds interesting as an iOS MOBA. But like really, I think I am, minus doing some research, I think I really am done with free to play titles without doing like really looking into it, because I don't want to waste my time anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather buy a $6.99 game. Like Thomas Was Alone just came out on the iPad, and I love that game, and I want to play it again on my iPad, and I'd rather do that than try and beat some stupid wood elf in Dungeon Keepers. It's just a waste of time.
Can you hear that like really weird beeping stuff?
Yeah, it sounds like a microwave.
Yeah.
Making pizza pockets?
No.
But I hear it come. I don't know. It's not me.
It's over now. No.
Yeah.
I was.
Good thing we're both hearing it. We thought maybe we were going crazy. Like, just.
I did think I was going crazy. I was like, where the hell is that coming from? So yeah, sorry. Anyways, so did you play anything else this week? Because I apologize, guys. I'll touch on it a little bit at the end of the show, but I haven't played anything this week. I played a touch of Smite, but not much, and I played a little bit of WoW, just enough to do my dailies. So I haven't actually played anything this week. I am so sorry. Oh, and Hearthstone I've played as well.
Of course, the
yeah,
staples,
of course,
right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I haven't done anything new, anything at all. So have you done anything else before we move on to news?
No, minus the, like you said, the stables, the usual boot ups every week. These are the only two new ones, and I'm not gonna go back to them. I will delete it on the show live for everybody to see. That's what you want to see.
Kick your addiction.
Here, while you read this, I'm gonna do it. You watch me.
All right.
I'm just gonna make sure there's no like notifications on here that I don't want you to see. Like Ryan subscribed to Girly Magazine. I don't know. I can't.
Girlymagazines.com.
Okay.
All right, so Ryan and I really appreciate your continued support of our show, along with the support of our sponsor, Doghouse Systems. You can use the code TheGamersIn to double your RAM when you purchase a new gaming rig. Head on over to doghousesystems.com and get your order on. Also, guys, watch out because we have something really cool coming, a combination TGI Doghouse type initiative for Extra Life. So You guys should oh yeah,
It's
there you go.
gone.
It's gone. You guys should just
Sorry.
stay tuned because we have some really cool stuff coming to you thanks to our sponsors, and it's all going to our Extra Life charity. So I'm super stoked, and hopefully we'll have more information for you in the next week or so. Announcement of an announcement.
Those are my favorite kind of announcements.
I know,
especially
right?
when we're doing it. Can we have a countdown clock?
Oh, we should totally make a countdown clock.
Sorry, guys. We're doing a countdown clock.
So we actually have two news stories this week that we kind of wanted to touch on. The first is a leak that was posted on Reddit saying that basically Xbox was rolling out a free 24-hour, and they used the word play, and some people are throwing around the word demo. So I'm not really 100% sure because now Xbox has come back and said, oh, no, that's an error. But basically what the idea is that there would be different games, some of them AAA, some of them indie, that would be available to play for a 24-hour period. So it's not like all games would be available at all times. It was like a rotation, a free rotation.
Uh-huh.
And basically you would be able to play that game for a set 24-hour period. So like a midnight to midnight kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically a Reddit user captured it on his Xbox and then posted it, and Microsoft then said, at first Microsoft CS on Twitter said, oh yeah, that's totally coming, and then they went, oh no, error, no.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the reason we kept it in here is I thought it's an interesting premise, because I, for one, feel like if a game is good enough, your first impressions, 24 hours is probably a bit much. I mean, they recently announced that the EA Access games, you get 5 days early access, is up to a max of 6 hours.
what?
Which I think if you're buying, yeah, exactly. I think if you're buying a game, you should get those 5 days. So maybe like if you don't buy it, you only get 6 hours, but if you buy it, you get the full 5 days. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
EA
know.
just totally shit the bed on that one. I don't
Oh
wanna,
man, EA shits the bed like they don't have a toilet, man. Come on.
I don't know. I don't know what to even say about half of that stuff anymore. They're just so off the deep end. Anyways,
Yeah. But no, with this, it's interesting because I feel like Microsoft is really in a position with their new sort of head of games to kind of try interesting things, and I think a free play day is sort of what they're doing with Origin with their free games. Like they're giving away. More recently, it was Titanfall's back on the list, but before that, it was Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare, a fairly new title that is a $40 multiplayer only game with no demo. So giving it away for 72 hours for people to play it for as much time as they want for 72 hours.
yeah.
That's a really good win, and a demo takes more time to build than actually releasing a game and having a time gate on it.
Yeah. And
So,
I think the
it
thing
makes
is,
sense.
like, in terms of that time gate, like, you may sit down and think, oh my God, 24, 72, however long they release it for, it sounds like such a big number and such a huge amount of time. Be like, well, for instance, like, oh, well, Bioshock Infinite, I can play through that storyline in 15 hours. So they're basically giving me the game for free. But the thing is, it's not that every game is always free and you get a free 24 hours. It's a rotation. You may or may not be able to play at that time. Like, I know, for instance, there's the Wanderers Festival in WoW, which happens every Sunday night. But it's Sunday night at like midnight Pacific or something, which puts it at like 4 o'clock in the morning, my time, every single week. So there's like a free battle pet, but I've never got it because it's 4 o'clock in the freaking morning. So, I mean, that is a very, very small event. It only lasts for like 15 minutes or something. But the premise is the same. If you are not free during that 24 hours for whatever reason, or, people do have to sleep, we don't do Extra Life every freaking weekend, and there's a reason. So,
Wait, I thought we were doing our practice Extra Life this weekend.
oh man, are we? I didn't put it in my calendar.
Wouldn't it be fun? We should totally not have a practice Extra Life.
No, we should not.
We should maybe play some video games, but definitely
Yeah,
don't
not
stay up all
24
night.
hours. But
No.
anyway, so my point being that,
Yes.
24 hours may seem like a lot, but if it just happens to fall on like your sister's wedding weekend or,
Mhm.
like there's all kinds of things that life can just pull you away. And so if it's not on your schedule, it's not actually that big of a loss for Xbox, and it's
Sure.
probably a big win for the actual games
Mhm.
because I mean, really, if you only have like on any given Saturday at like an hour, say, to try out these free titles, and then you're just like, oh man, yeah, I really like this, then you're probably going to be like, well, I can't play for the rest of the 24 hours, but you know what I can do? Spend $15 on this cool indie title that I wouldn't even have tried otherwise.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great way for people to explore new games that they probably wouldn't buy just by checking out a trailer. And the of course we're talking about this as a concept now that they've trashed it, but it's also a great way for Microsoft to test the waters. I mean, let's release this little screenshot that may or may not contain plans for our future on the system, and see what people think. And I think the response was fairly positive. And if Microsoft is listening and trying to be hip and happening and trying to catch up with Sony, they're paying attention to what people are saying and hopefully trying to implement this and talking to publishers. And think about it, like Halo 5 comes out next year and they have a 24-hour demo, no questions asked if you're a gold subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you 24 hours max to
Yeah.
jump in, check it out, and maybe try out the multiplayer modes and see what it's got. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when you get into the campaign and stuff, like 24 hours legitimately could be enough to beat an entire game. So I think there needs to be restrictions, but I don't know. It's an interesting premise.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I really hope that this is the kind of thing that Microsoft is moving towards. I'd really like to see it. Makes me pretty happy about still having a gold subscription, although it's Xbox One. It's not
Yeah.
360s, but I feel like I'm just gonna get a next gen system soon.
Get a PS4.
But yeah, PS4. Let's be honest. But anyways, I mean, the thing is that if Microsoft does something like this, then PlayStation will follow suit, or vice versa. PlayStation does something
Well,
cool, and Microsoft follows suit. So, I mean,
PlayStation's
regardless.
already doing this.
Well,
It's
yes, yeah,
they're doing it with PlayStation Plus and offering now it's limited, but they
yes,
offer
yeah,
60 minutes
yeah.
of a full download. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Similar again, like because
it's similar
there
enough.
you have a much smaller window, but it's on your own time frame, which I think is why they restrict the window. This one gives you 24 hours, but you don't get to pick when. So
Mhm.
I think it's an interesting concept, and I'd like to see what they do with this. So our next story this week is actually kind of a two-parter. We had some interesting stuff again with Phil Fish.
Ugh.
So he is the creator of Fez. There was also some other stuff that happened with another dev. She
Yeah.
was the one who created
Depression
Depression
Quest.
Quest.
Yes.
So I don't want to get into all of that because that is a whole can of worms that I'm just not opening on the show.
Mm-mm.
But basically, Phil Fish came to her defense, and then they both got hacked. So Phil Fish is quitting again. All of the things.
Well, yeah, we were
Um,
talking on Skype the other night when we were playing Smite or something about how like I never unfollowed Phil Fish when he quit, and he started popping back up and he was going on and on about this the Ferguson stuff, which I think is important to talk about.
yes,
But the
yeah,
way he talks about stuff is obnoxious
hmm
and very toxic.
yeah.
And if I wanted that, I'd go to Reddit. So I was like, this guy, and you said just unfollow him. What are you doing? And I'm like, you're right. And I had followed him, and then I had to find out on IGN that he quit Twitter again. It's like, oh, great, he quit. I mean,
Yeah,
the shit
so
that happened to him was awful.
yeah, well, and see, and this is the thing, and I am not picking sides. I'm not saying what I actually think. I would like to think that someone wouldn't be this stupid, but a lot of people are saying that he faked the hack and that he leaked his own information. There's, evidence on both sides, and the whole situation just messed up. So I don't want to gloss over the fact that there are some people who think that he didn't get hacked, that he leaked it all
Hmm.
on his own. So I'm not glossing over that. I'm presenting both sides. Um,
I didn't
I
hear
would
that.
not be surprised given some of the crazy negativity and just venom that is being hurled on the internet, not just in this specific situation, but I found just the internet in general in the past, like, well, it's kind of been ramping up, I want to say, over the last 8 months, but I feel like the last 2 months have just been awful. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely awful. You
Shit's
hear
going
about it
down.
all the time, and it's like rape threats and death threats, and, like just all this horrible, horrible, awful things that the internet, the anonymity of the internet, is allowing people to do. And it's even starting to bleed over into some personalities' personal life, and not just their online life, but, like getting like mail sent to houses, which is ultimately creepy. Like, oh, I can't even imagine. And it's the kind of thing where you're just like, oh man, like what is going on, people? So I mean, like, I can see Phil Fish getting hacked for defending a woman in games who has
Yeah.
done something questionable. I can see this happening. I can also see Phil Fish doing something totally fucking nuts. So I can see both sides. But anyways, so basically what happened was he got hacked. I'm going to use air quotes. And then a whole bunch of information about his company and his employees were leaked. He decided he's quitting the internet, he's quitting video games, he's quitting Twitter, all the rest of it. And so his last tweet that he sent out, or I guess it must have been multiple tweets because this is way too long to be one tweet, but it says basically his last thing that he posted before he quit the internet was, this is video games. This is what I get. This is unacceptable. This is not okay. Terrorists, never again. You hear me? Never again. This is video games. This is your
Sorry.
audience. To every aspiring game developer out there, don't give up. It's not worth it. Yeah, so like don't, period. As in like do not be a game developer, not don't give up. Like don't do it. Give up. It's not worth it. Nothing is worth this. Give up on your dreams. They are actually nightmares. Just don't do it. Run away in caps. And then he dropped the mic and quit. So, in response to all of this negativity, because I've also seen like the ice box challenge, ice bucket challenge.
You do not want an ice box dropped on your head. That's...
No. Along with this we love game devs hashtag that's on Twitter. Like, I've seen really big positive movements happening at the same time, but like, man, oh man, it's starting to get really polarized. But anyways, so in response to all this negativity that has been kind of thrown in the face of all these game devs over the last like little while, there was a hashtag created. It's hashtag we love game devs, and basically you can go on Twitter and see everybody's responses, and it's basically like all the reasons why you love games and game developers, and just showing them that it's worth being in the industry. It's worth creating, and we appreciate everything they've done for us. Because I mean, like, video games have changed my life. Let's just be completely honest. Like, opening up, admitting I'm a gamer, just owning it, loving it, getting into podcasting. Like, I am a totally different person. I am way more outgoing. I just, like, video games have literally changed my life. So I love all game devs, and I appreciate what they do because I know it's not easy. It's difficult to program. It's difficult to art.
Yeah.
Everything that goes into video games is really, really hard to create. So I know I can't do it. So I absolutely appreciate the people that actually do make their living creating for me so that I can have some fun. So, I mean, anyone who hasn't checked this out yet, go look at the We Love Game Devs hashtag on Twitter. Super cool. Ryan, what do you think about all this? I just realized I've been talking for like 10 minutes.
I was dealing with the devil over here. Seriously, I'm gonna have to spring for a sitter. Yeah, no, I read Phil Fish's statement, and I should have let go of him a long time ago. I love Fez. Fez is great. It's an awesome game, but that man needs help. Whether it's help learning how to talk to people, or whether it's help to get away from these negative people that have just latched onto him and won't let go until he, I don't know, does something even stupider than this. But I I just think that there's a couple problems wrong with the game industry, and it's not the developers, it's
Although, I mean,
the
like
people.
chat room is pointing it out. Like, I mean, he does not have a whole lot of respect for his I don't want to call them coworkers, employees, and
Colleagues.
colleagues. Yeah, colleagues is a good word for it. Doesn't have respect for people who play his games, his fans. Just like game journalism. Like he's really torn down
Yeah,
the
and I
entire industry at one point or another,
hmm,
multiple times in horrible ways. Like the guy's a dick, and we've covered how much of a dick he is
yeah.
over and over. But nobody deserves, like, and again, air quotes, nobody deserves to get their personal information thrown out on the internet.
And
It's just not right.
the people he worked with and the people who still work at his company are great people and if you follow them on Twitter, you'll notice that they do not act like Phil Fish does.
Hmm.
They are nice and they continue to run the company Polytron. Maybe not anymore.
Why did
Fuck
you give her a
off.
squeak toy?
It's right here. I'm gonna kill you. You want this, don't you?
Oh.
Damn it all, man. I'm trying to make a point here. Yeah, you want up now, don't you? Here, come here. You're not moving until we finish. Okay, so basically, I think that that Phil Fish is an outlier, but I think the real issue with the game industry is not just the game industry, it's the internet as a whole. Like there are just people out there who do not know how to act like human beings,
Mm,
and it creates messes like this.
yeah.
But then for every person who can act like a human being and treat people equally, there are awesome people that are doing this hashtag stuff like we
Hmm.
love game devs. And I believe that creative people who are following these hashtags and seeing their names mentioned, um, for every bad comment they get, for every 5 bad comments they get, one of these comments probably just sparks them right back up.
Yeah.
I know it would me. Like all it takes is one good comment to kind of like get you going, right?
Yeah. True.
Creativity, with creativity, it's fueled by positivity,
Yeah.
and
And
that
passion.
comes
Yeah.
that comes forth with the product, right?
Yeah. So I
Um,
think if you haven't taken the opportunity, go and tweet your favorite dev or your favorite community manager or anybody really who's going to get the message across about how much you love video games and how much you appreciate the work that they do. Just wanted to remind everyone that if you want to show off your TGI pride, you can head over to slashloot.com. That's SLASH loot.com to grab yourself a Gamers Inn t-shirt like the one I am currently wearing. Yay! They have tons of other awesome shirts, including designs by Carter Johnson, like Best Pals, as well as all your other favorite podcasts, like Azeroth Roundtable, The Morning Stream, Zombies Ate My Podcast, and The Angry Chicken. So go to slashloot.com to show off your podcast pride. We have a couple of listener feedback items to talk about tonight. Josh Cook, who is the underscore JDC on Twitter, tweeted us and said he was listening to the EA Access podcast again and wishes that he was there to defend the product for Xbox One. So I don't know. I mean, is there anything really you can say to defend this, especially with some of the things that have come out since their initial announcement? Like, I mean, come on. Come on, Josh. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he has an Xbox One, and for $30 a year, I mean, 30. So I had someone say to me, I heard on a podcast, someone say like $30 a year is you basically spend it and then you immediately don't regret it. Like it's gone. 30
Yeah.
bucks is nothing in the grand scheme of things. And, it may not pay for itself, but I find like, especially with PlayStation Plus, like some months will come out where there'll be games that sort of like pop up in the store for free. And it's kind of like, oh, I wouldn't think of like Road Not Taken. I would
Mm.
not buy this because there's just so much else out there, but because I get it for free, I'm going to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's that scenario I think which helps because and Josh, give me a chance. I think with the Xbox One, it's a nice new feature to get more games in your hands, but then you see some of these stipulations coming out, like the 6-hour max for the pre-release, and
Yeah.
what other stuff are they going to
That makes me
impose?
so sad.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, if anyone can defend EA, we would love to hear it, and we will absolutely read it on the show. Did want to take a second before we get into this email to thank David Carver, who is one of our patrons. So if you want to be a patron of The Gamers Inn, you can do so at patreon.com/thegamersin. We appreciate each and every one of you. We have a blast doing game night. So you can vote on what our website's going to look like, what we're going to play for game night, all that kind of stuff. Plus, you get your first shot at invites to play with us every Thursday night. So it's a great opportunity to spend some time with us, to hang out and have a great time. And you can do so either by being in the chat room or actually being a patron and getting an invite. So head on over again. That is patreon.com/thegamersin. So our email this week comes to us from Boomaya, who said, guys, I just listened to the podcast about Wolf Among Us and spent the whole thing going, this sounds like a ripoff of Bill Willingham's Fables, only to read up afterwards that it's an official game spinoff. Think maybe you could have mentioned once in your hour talking about, or sorry, mention that once in your hour talking about show. Seeing as a lot of game nerds are also comic nerds. Despite that, you have a new listener who followed me here from The Angry Chicken. So thank you very much for your email. That was actually the 5th installment of our Fable spoiler show. So,
Sure.
or sorry, not our Fable, our Wolf Among Us spoiler show. So we did mention off the top, which was probably episode like, I don't even know, maybe 110. Would probably been back around there where we did our first episode spoiling The Wolf Among Us. So we did mention that it was Fables, and try not to repeat myself that much, but it is a very valid point that we probably could have given more information just as an overview at the start. So we will keep that in mind next time we do a spoiler episode.
Yeah. Oh no, I feel like we mentioned it, but now that I think back, it's kind of like when you play a game for a good year now, it feels like it's almost second knowledge that it's that it's based on a certain product. Like, could you imagine if we start talking about Game of Thrones and they say, "Oh, this sounds a lot like the Song of Ice and Fire, guys." Yeah, I'm not making fun of you, Boomia. I think it's a very valid point, and I'm glad that you decided to stick around, even though we've made this. We'll try harder in the future, I think. So Goddess is based on Godus for the PC. It was early access, kickstarted by Peter Molyneux, and yeah, check it out. It's really cool.
It is really cool.
Don't play Dungeon Keepers.
So I think that pretty much does it for us this week on the show. So I just wanted to, before I go into the outro, take a couple seconds here. I have been going through some pretty terrible shit in the last couple days. And I really appreciate everyone's kind words on Twitter. And I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my co-hosts on Angry Chicken, Garrett and Dills, as well as Terpster and Scott from The Instance have been awesome. So I just wanted to take a second and thank everybody. Thank Twitter, because, you guys are you've been fantastic. So I love you all. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the kind words. I don't really want to get into exactly what's going on, but I'm sure it'll come out eventually. So, yeah, thanks everybody. I appreciate the support and I love you. So, yeah. Also, thanks for supporting me for canceling game night last night, because I swear to God, it would not have been fun. It would not have been fun. So we're going to try to do some more streaming. I'll have some time coming up. So really looking forward to all the super cool things that we can get into. So
Perfect.
all of that being said, you can visit us on the web at gamersinpodcast.com. You can also find us on AMove TV, along with other fabulous podcasts, including Into the Nexus, Campaign Roundtable, Biggest Fan, The Angry Chicken, and AMove Radio. You can follow us on Twitter. You can find me, Jocelyn, at GIS Gamer. Ryan is at R. Murphy, and don't forget to follow the show at The Gamers Inn. The video versions of all our episodes can be found on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Jocelyn Moffat. You can also find the show on Facebook and Google+. If you'd like to email the show and let us know what you thought of Phil Fish or of Microsoft's choice to potentially give us 24 hours of free access to games, you can do so at info@gamersinpodcast.com. So thank you for staying at the Gamers Inn, and remember, tune in next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.